There's a huge misconception in the world of activewear, and a misconception that you might be falling victim to. In the activewear space, there's a difference between a great design and a great brand. A great design gets noticed for the first time, but a great brand gets remembered. And a great brand that gets remembered means that you, as a startup or an established brand, can command pricing power, and you can build a moat for yourself around your business that makes it difficult for competitors to compete with you and allows you to charge premium prices and make sure that customers walk away with a smile on their face telling their friends about it. So how do you achieve a brand in activewear, and how do you just distinguish what is a nice design or a brand with nice designs and a brand with proper staying power? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing on today's episode. My name is Shadi. I am the co-founder of FittDesign, the world's first sportswear design agency. And we work with over 1,000 brands to help them design, develop, and bring to market quality activewear brands that stand the test of time and that can compete with the best of them. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So what is a brand really? A brand isn't necessarily just a logo, an emblem, word mark, a collection of values, a mission statement, fonts. A brand is an association. It's an association that a customer makes between your entity and an idea or a promise, right? When you look at Nike, you understand that it's a high-performance, legacy-oriented brand. And when you're buying into Nike, you're buying into a piece of that. With Lululemon, it's about self-mastery, it's about balance, and it's about control. With Alphalete, it's about being part of a community of growth, ambition, and self-mastery. This is what you're getting as a customer when you are buying into these brands beyond just the raw material value and the design value of the product. Next up is why beautiful design is not a moat for your brand. It can serve as part of building a moat around your brand, but it's always about brand first. And we've seen this before with high innovative companies that have created products that are very, very unique, but we always tend to see in, the months and the years afterwards on Amazon, on Temu, on Shein, lookalike products that feature similar benefits or similar features always pop up. So what allows these brands to continue to command the high prices is their brand value. It's how people perceive them. It's the trust that they immediately create in customers that distinguishes them. This is what creates the pricing power. This is what creates the long-term legacy of a brand that gets customers to keep coming back through word of mouth. This is what creates the customer retention. And this is what ultimately creates the emotional connection. Because if you can connect with your customers emotionally, then you can always earn their trust and their repeat business time and time again. When you only focus on product features and aesthetics and you neglect the idea of the brand that you're building, this is something that someone can immediately duplicate if they reverse engineer your product and offer it at a cheaper price. And this is something that makes it increasingly difficult to sell the product for its enterprise value or the brand for its enterprise value down the line. If you look at the brands that have the highest staying power and the biggest valuations, it's not necessarily just the brands that have highly innovative product. It's the brands that use that highly innovative product and make that part of their brand identity and their brand culture. A great case of this is Lululemon. Lululemon was the first to come into the market with high quality premium fabric such as their Luon blend. They trademarked that blend, but even now, where multiple dupes and duplicates have come out with 99.9% accuracy, there's only one Luon blend because they've owned and tapped into that market. So how can you as a brand use your brand value to create pricing power and long-term loyalty? So part of it is getting practical here. Startups are very often afraid to price at a premium level because they think to themselves, I don't have the trust of my customers, so I don't have the ability to justify and command these high prices. To a certain degree, you are kind of in the right thought process. But if you continue down that thought process, you're essentially shooting yourself in the foot. The truth is that premium brand isn't necessarily just about product innovation, product features and benefits and quality. It comes down to how you resonate with customers. You can only make your fabric feel so plush or so buttery and so smooth, which is important, but it only gets you to a specific point. The idea is that when you create an emotional connections with your customers, you unlock the next level of brand connection, right? Customers are no longer just responding to you from a logical basis. They're making an emotional and sometimes even irrational response as to why they need your product, which means when you go to purchase, they're not just thinking, oh, is this worth its value in the weight of the fabrics and the materials and the stitching? No. Does this represent who I want to be? And the emotion that it makes me feel, is it justified? That's the next level of pricing power. So customers come back to you because they know that they're getting something consistent, unique, that they can connect with. And at the same time, they're not just coming back to you to have a re-experience of the product, they're coming back to you to re-experience the brand, which is in itself the next level of brand identity. So what can you do today to start building a brand and not just a product? And part of it is getting practical. If you're a founder, trying to transition from the let's just make my brand look good to let's make my brand build brand identity and brand value. This comes down to the associations that you want to create with your customer. So this comes down to first understanding what do you want your customer to experience when interacting and engaging with your product and with your company as a whole. What part of their life are you helping to elevate and put additional structure and value to? So your product isn't just the fabric, it's essentially the permission for them to achieve a higher part of themselves. It's the momentum to keep pushing on their goals and their ambitions. It's the confidence that gives them the added spring in their step. It's the discipline that they get by wearing your clothes and feeling motivated to go to the gym. It's the comfort that they get knowing that your clothes are dependable, that your clothes fit them, and that your clothes just make them look and feel their best. So you need to define the feeling and align all aspects and touch points of your brand around it, which means packaging, website, product photography, your captions, the way that you engage with your customers, with customer service. All of these things build brand. It's the continuous evaluations and associations that you make between the promise that you've set of how you want to get your customer to feel and how they end up actually feeling as they engage with your brand through the touch points. Next up, you need to design product that reinforces your customer's core identity and doesn't just simply follow and hop from trend to trend. So your designs should be solely focused on your customer's identity and reflecting that back to them to create and to strengthen and deepen that emotional connection. This means that when you're thinking about colors, you're not necessarily just thinking about hyped colors or trendy colors for a specific season. You're thinking about colors that make sense for your core customer demographic, that create emotional staples that customers will want to come back to time and time again. Again, a great example of this might be something like Skims, which has based its sort of core brand identity around the idea of essentials that make women look and feel their best that can be worn as a base layer underneath their garments. If you tend to see, Skims tends to use a lot of neutral earthy tones that match the skin tones, which makes sense for the core brand aspect that they're in. Whether they've expanded into swimwear, into traditional activewear, through their collaborations with Nike, they tend to come back to that ethos time and time again. It doesn't mean that they don't engage and experiment with more experimental or seasonal colors from time to time, but even in their experimentation, they stick true to what they know their customer wants. Your product should become a part of your customer's day-to-day routine, not just necessarily something that they throw on when they have nothing else to wear. Next up is you need to tell stories that stick and resonate with your customers. If you look at Lululemon, for example, Lululemon doesn't just sell yoga pants. What they do is they sell you an aspirational lifestyle of the Supergirl core customer avatar that is, moving around from place to place in her life. She has all the different aspects of her personal life, her business life, her family life in order, and she demands and requires clothing that matches that vision. The same thing is with Gymshark, that they have their "We Do Gym" slogan. Gymshark's clothing is not just about selling fitted t-shirts or compression tops. It's about selling you the aspect of discipline, of repetition, of grind, of consistency, and how your clothing or their clothing is able to play a part in that through your journey in life. Last up is play the long game. And to be practical here, this means that understand that just something visual in design gets clicks and gets customers to become aware of your product. But true brand value, true brand identity builds something that's way bigger than just the product itself and something that cannot be duplicated. It's because customers will remember ultimately what and how you made them feel time and time again, much more than they'll remember the ad or the caption or the visual that you put on your last meta ad. So make sure that you're developing something that knows your customer inside out, that continuously creates those touch points and reinforces that emotional connection from the brand that you've set to the promise that you're promising that your customer you will make time and time again. And the more you can be consistent with strengthening and deepening that bond, the stronger your brand value and your brand equity will be. If you're looking to build your own brand and want to build a strong moat around your business, you can apply to work with us one-on-one through the link in the description. Just fill in a couple of your contacts and we'll immediately get back to you on what it would take to get your idea into a physical product in under 30 days. And I'll say this, if you want to build a brand that really stands the test of time, understand your customer and build something with real emotional weight that has structure and ultimately something that has a consistent story that is disciplined in how it tells that story. If you're flip-flopping from narrative to narrative, you create a lack of trust with your customers. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, please consider smashing a massive thumbs up. It helps us out massively and it keeps us motivated to keep pumping out this content for you. And I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fit Design TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.